We'll get started here in a minute. We have some technical difficulties we're trying to get worked out, so just be patient with us here a minute.
I'm just gonna simplify. Just
Okay, welcome to the regular meeting of the Cape Coral City Council. Today is April 15th, 2026. This meeting now comes to order. Please stand for the invocation and pledge allegiance by Councilmember Donnell.
Dear Heavenly Father, just want to take time and pause and say thank you. Thank you for all your many blessings. We thank you for all our residents, everyone here, Lord, family member, and you know what each and every one of us is going through. And we ask that you would just continue to watch over us, keep us safe, keep us protected. We pray for our leaders that we will make decisions that will be in the best interest of each other. And by and large, we just pray that each and every one of us will continue to respect, love each other. And we thank you for this great time, place you've allowed us to live to. And we ask you to continue to watch over us. It's in your name we pray. All children said amen.
Amen.
Please join for a pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Mayor Gunter,
Here.
Council members Donnell,
Here.
Kilrain,
Here.
Lastra,
Here.
Lehman, Long,
Here.
Steinke,
Here.
all present.
Okay, thank you. Item 5, changes to the agenda. The only change that I would like to request is to move item 8D, which is the Lee Building Industry Association Builders Care presentation, up until directly after recognitions and achievements.
Motion to approve agenda with that change.
Second.
Okay, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Kaduke,
Aye.
Kilrain,
Aye.
Lastra,
Aye.
Lehman, Long,
Aye.
Steinke,
Aye.
Donnell, Gunter,
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, item 6 is recognitions and achievements. 6A is the Community Recognition Award with the BMX 2026 World Team USA. Mr. City Manager.
It may not have that. Sort them out. Yeah. Today, we take a moment to recognize a group of truly exceptional BMX athletes from right here in Cape Coral. They have shown excellence in their sport through hard work, dedication, and perseverance on and off the track. These riders competed at the Sunshine State National Race at Strausser BMX Sports Complex, our own nationally ranked BMX facility, and earned top spots at the BMX World Championships. Competing against top riders from across the region, they proved that a world-class journey can begin on a hometown track, and that when a community invests in its residents and facilities, world-class results can be achieved. They will represent not only the United States, but also the city of Cape Coral at the World Championships in Brisbane, Australia. We are proud of the way they carry themselves and the way they support one another and the way they represent our city. At this time, we'd like to recognize the following athletes: Crosby Backer, Tyler Grable, Glenn Lugo, Sawyer Murphy, Alexa Pearl, Ivan Valentin, Isaac Valentin, Helena Schemmel, Jacob Shearer, Brandon Unger, Davis Walker, Lisa White, Connor White, and Gavin Stevenson. On behalf of the City of Cape Coral, congratulations to all of you, and thank you for representing our community, Cape Coral, on the world stage. Good luck, best wishes on bringing home the championship medals. Cape Coral supports you.
If you're over 5'6", maybe just stand in the back for a minute.
This is good. Yeah, we could switch them. Okay. On a count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Just wanted to say congratulations and good luck when you travel abroad in your next race. Move on to item 8D, new business. First of which is the item that we moved up because of a scheduling conflict was the Lee Building Industry Association Builders Care presentation. So I'll invite them up to our podium for the presentation.
Mayor, while they're coming, I just wanted to say to council, I wouldn't mind, get a second. I want a motion to be the council representative in Spain with the BMX. Y'all okay?
Yeah.
I tried.
Yeah. As long as you can do that remotely, I'll support you.
Okay, all right. Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and City Council members. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. Thank you.
We are here this evening to talk to you about Lee BIA Builders Care. And let me start off by telling you I've been a resident of Cape Coral since 1989. My office is located in Cape Coral. And so I just wanted to get that out of the way. Lee BIA Builders Care was founded in 2005. We celebrated our 20th year back in November, I believe. To date, we have put over $6 million back into our community. We provide emergency construction services for the elderly and the disabled, veterans, economically disadvantaged citizens right here in Lee County. How do I change? Okay, all right. All right. Again, our mission is to provide emergency construction services at no cost to the elderly and the disabled. Builders Care exists to improve the quality of life for deserving Lee County residents. We have since expanded to Glades and Hendry County also. Like I said, it was founded in 2005. We've completed over 500 projects with $6.1 million going back into this community at no cost to the homeowners whatsoever. We have a team of two. We have our executive director, Lee Cloud, and we also have our director of client services, Audra McKinney. These ladies work very hard. They're out in the community. They are the boots on the ground that get out and help find our residents that need our help. We're funded by private donations. We're funded by fundraisers. Barbecue Bands and Brew, which just happened a couple of weeks ago in downtown Fort Myers, we raised $99,000 from that event. We have a charity clay shoot every December. We have a wine event called Pull the Cork. We do Helping Hands for the Holidays, which is put on by Abishan Homes. They have been a partner of ours for about 20 years, I believe, and a great partnership. We also benefit from golf tournaments, from fishing tournaments that are put on by the Lee Building Industry Association. And we have a lot of donors, materials, suppliers that donate to us. A qualified homeowner is elderly, 65 or older, and or disabled. They're economically disadvantaged. We vet everyone that comes through our door. They have to income qualify. Their home must be owned and it must be located in Lee County. They have to live in the home full time and they have to be a permanent residence. It cannot be a mobile home. What type of repairs do? We do HVAC repairs and replacements. We do roof repairs and replacements, ADA wheelchair accessible ramps. We do electrical and plumbing repairs, handicap accessibility in bathrooms, plumbing, well and septic, mold remediation, interior renovations, and we do demo and new construction. Builders Care projects. We assisted a single father here in Cape Coral by coordinating a full HVAC replacement, including a new system and ductwork through SIGS Air Conditioning, helping restore safe and reliable cooling for his home. And let me just back up and say, when people reach out to us, especially for HVAC or roof, they're in critical need. Their HVAC system has not been working for quite some time. Their roof is leaking. So we get involved, we partner with a company and get those items taken care of. We build handicap ramps. We build a lot of handicap accessible ramps. We have instances where a homeowner has been in the hospital and they're disabled and the hospital will not release them home until they can get into their home safely, and that's where we step in. We usually average about 3 days on building a ramp. We go in, partner with suppliers and volunteers, and we put a ramp into their home, like I said, in 3 days. We do electrical repairs, ADA bathrooms, and again, we do plumbing, well, and septic. We also do beautification sometimes. We had an instance about a year ago where a code enforcement officer from Cape Coral had to do a code violation on a lady whose yard was out of control. And she reached out to us And we put a team of volunteers together, and we went over and we took care of this lady's yard. We had to get a bush hog to cut the grass, and we did some minor landscaping and things to that nature. But, you know, we got her taken care of and got her moving in the right direction. We do have a lot donation program, and I'm going to let Philip step in here. Okay?
I thought it was your security today. She couldn't afford good security, so she asked me to come.
Yep.
One of the things we had talked to the city manager about and others is we partnered with Fort Myers about 2 years ago and said, hey, you got, you know, several lots in your inventory, and we'd love to come in, because a lot of times these houses that we go into, they're not repairable. So we end up tearing them down, rebuilding new homes. And then we started talking, most of them have been in the city of Fort Myers, and we said, hey, you've got all this lot inventory. We'd love to come in and help beautify some of these neighborhoods. And so we're on our second home that the city has provided us a lot. And we are now in the process with Pulte Homes is building a home for a veteran. He is one of the unique ones. He has never owned a home. He's lived in an apartment. So we partnered with Pulte Homes, and we're building him a brand new home right now. So we're not only giving him a new lease on life, but we're also helping bring up some of the communities that need new housing into their areas. So we'd love to throw the idea out here to see if the city council, mayor, and city would be willing to partner with us in a similar fashion, but also just to educate you about what we do. A lot of times you're out in the community, you hear of needs, and that's one of the things we struggle with sometimes is finding people. A lot of people don't want to come forward because they're embarrassed or they don't want to ask for help, but you may know them, or people in the audience today. If you know of people that are in need, please let us know. We'll reach out to them. We don't have to wait for them to apply. We can reach out to them and go visit them and see if we can help them. So that's our presentation for tonight. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I open up for any discussions? Seeing none, thank you very much for the presentation. Next item on the agenda is item 7, approval of the minutes. Do we have a motion regarding the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Of the regular meeting of March 25th, 2026.
So motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Do we have a motion regarding the minutes from the regular meeting of April 1st, 2026?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any council discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 8 is business. 8A is the consent agenda. I will open up the consent agenda for council to pull any items. No items. Councilmember Kaduc.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolution 42-26. Number 1.
Number 1. All right. And Councilmember Lastra.
Sorry, Mayor, hold on. I wanted to pull the resolution regarding the mobile unit, the mobile police unit.
86-26.
26, number 5.
Thank you.
All right. And Councilmember, no, that's it. All right. So we got a total of 7 items on the agenda. And it looks like we are pulling item number 1 and item number 5. So I entertain a motion for the remaining.
Motion to approve the remaining consent agenda.
Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Kaduc.
Aye.
Kilrain.
Aye.
Lastra.
Aye.
Lehman. Long.
Aye.
Steinke.
Aye.
Donnell. Gunter.
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, we'll start off with item number 1, Resolution 42-26. Councilmember Kaduc, you pulled it. I'll give you the floor.
Thank you, Mayor. I was waiting for Councilmember Long to turn his light on, but I guess he's too humble to take the victory lap. On March 25th, he pulled this item for discussion, and ultimately he's saving taxpayers $45,000 after the topsoil versus fill dirt. So I just want to thank him for that. That's all.
All right, and we will entertain a motion for Resolution 42-26.
Motion to approve resolution 42-26.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Kaduke,
Aye.
Hilrain,
Aye.
Lastra,
Aye.
Lehman, Long,
Aye.
Stankey,
Aye.
Donnell, Gunter,
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, move on to item number 5, Resolution 86-26. Councilmember Laster, you pulled this item. I'll turn the floor over to you.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to clarify for the public where we are getting the funds to cover this initiative. Mr. City Manager, are you able to tell us that? Hello. Sorry, didn't see you, Chief. If you could just let us know. We had gotten some feedback from some residents, and I just wanted to clarify why we're getting this and how we're covering it.
Good evening, Anthony Sizemore, Police Chief. As far as operationally why we are getting it, I'd be more than happy to have a discussion with you offline about that. The funding source is split 50-50. Half of it is Red Speed citation proceeds, the portion of which come to the police department for initiatives, and the other 50% is from criminal seizure and asset account that is earmarked for projects and equipment.
Okay, and it's also my understanding, I know when we went to Tallahassee, we had asked for appropriations money. So say we get appropriations once the budget is decided this year at the state level, will we be able to use those funds then for something else whatever the difference is?
I would imagine we would. That'd be a deeper discussion I would have with our finance department.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, I entertain a motion for Resolution 86-25.
Motion to approve Resolution 8626.
Second.
All right, Councilmember Long.
Yeah, hold on. I guess at the tail end of that, I got confused. So we've got this is a budget question, Chief, which I know you said you can't answer, but I hope someone can.
I'll try.
So we've got an appropriation request that's in for this that presumably will occur after this goes through. How does that play out? Do I understand correctly that we asked for money that we're, okay. So
For
we're
a
asking-
similar project, not.
It's a different project.
It's not apples to apples. It's similar to qualify for the state appropriations. There had to be some alterations to incorporate some emergency management component to it.
Okay.
That we would be able to finagle into what we wanted. And just judging on the history of my department's success at state appropriation funding, we went ahead and expedited the request with the funding that we have available through forfeiture.
Okay. So when that does come through, if that does come through from the state, do I understand correctly? We're going to use it on another vehicle?
We're either going to apply it to this and then replenish those other funds, or we'll look at
That was my original
other
question,
equipment.
right?
Pardon?
Wasn't that my original question?
I don't know. I didn't hear. the
Apply to
original.
this and then replenish those funds?
If that's-
Procedurally, it's a budget question. How does that work? I'm assuming that we have something that's set up, but how do we, I don't understand how we're voting to approve this money now and presumably spending it. And then in the future, if the state appropriation comes through, that money goes where?
Mr. City Manager? I guess that's a finance question.
So where are they at? I mean, am I missing something?
Our expectation is that we will be able to reimburse ourselves, but we do have to get clarification from the state to make sure that that's an eligible activity.
So from a timing perspective, then, is there an immediacy to moving forward with this now versus waiting for that state appropriation either come in or not?
From an operational perspective, it is a need now. It is something that we were supposed to get at the beginning of FY26, and that was removed. So we went with alternate funding. And then after we did that is when the state appropriations window opened up.
Understood. And then I guess to flush that out further, that money would then be replenished from the Red Speed Fund in this theoretical that we get this money from the state, or? Because that's where, what, 250 grand's coming from?
Correct, yes.
Okay. And then this might be a budget question, unrelated, but when we originally put through, and I was the one that originally pushed forward for it, the Red Speed, we projected the revenues and we've got the money. I was told that the proceeds could be, and we didn't earmark it, but obviously it has its own fund, utilized for officers, for example, among other things, public safety initiatives, right? That's a broad scope, and obviously this applies. But it was my hope then, and it remains my hope, that those funds continue to go towards those pursuits, especially as we consider to push forward into the budget where we're apparently facing some tough decisions. And certainly the police are going to ask for more FTEs. That would be my desire to move forward with those funds. And obviously that's not going to cover much, but that was my original goal. And so for that reason, I'm going to vote no on this one. Thank you.
Councilmember Kilrain.
Yeah, my only question was that when that, when it does come through, if there's no contingencies upon that, we can apply that in any way and back out our matching piece for this, correct?
I didn't hear the first half.
I'm assuming that when those funds come in from a grant standpoint, as if and when they come in without any contingencies requirement on them, we can then back out our matching piece to this and you apply it to something else. Is that correct?
That's the expectation.
And is it likely that the grant would come in without a contingency? I don't know if it come in with a blank or it'd be tied directly to a vehicle.
I'm not sure I understand your question.
Well, for instance, we requested a grant from the state when we were in Tallahassee. If that comes through, is it likely that when we see those coming through, they normally have a contingency requirement on them if be spent for some specific purpose in that nature? Or do they just generally come through to be applied to the police department?
There's ability to have discussions about their future application in a circumstance like this.
So,
Yes.
so then this would be clean and to do it that way. So thank you. Appreciate it. So I'll support this. Thank you.
Okay, seeing no other lights on, we got a motion and second on the floor. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Kaduke,
Aye.
Kilrain,
Aye.
Lastro,
Aye.
Lehman. Long,
No.
Steinke,
Aye.
Donnell.
Aye.
Gunter,
Aye.
7 ayes, 1 nay, motion carried.
Okay, we will move on to item 8B, appointments to boards and committee. B1 is the Youth Council. Tonight we have 7 junior vacancy and 2 senior vacancies. I thought it would probably be easiest to separate those two. So we'll start with the junior vacancies. I know that we have been interviewing those candidates for the last several weeks. So I figured maybe what we'll do tonight with the juniors, starting with the juniors, we'll go down our roll call order tonight, and each council member can give the 7 juniors that they wish to move forward. I asked if you could use the number that's correlated next to their last name. I think that'll be somewhat easier for our city clerk. So I would ask that you please do that when you give the names. And Madam City Clerk, I will start with you since you have the roll call order.
Yes, Your Honor. We have 9 applications for the juniors, and we are looking to fill 7 vacancies. Kaduke,
2, Habash. 3, Hechaviera Campbell. 4, Jones. 5, Michaelina Fernandez. 7, Nice. 8, Salimi. 9, Wang.
all right, I'm going to repeat those back. I think in a different order, though.
Okay.
8, Salimi. 2, Habash. 4, Jones. 3, Hechavarria. 9, Wang. 5, Michelina. And 7, Nice.
Yes, and for the rest of council, she's going in the order off of the spreadsheet that was given to us, just so you know.
Kilrain,
1, Garcia. 2, Habash. 3, Hechavia Campbell. 4, Brody. 5, Michelina Fernandez. 7, Nice. 8, Salami.
When I repeat these, I missed one, so I'm going to have you help me fill it in. I have 8 Salimi, 2 Habash, 3 Hesheveria, 1 Garcia, 5 Michelina, and 7 Nice.
4 Brody.
4 Brody. Thank you. Lastra,
Yes. 2 Habash, 3 Hechovaria Campbell, 4 Jones, 5 Michelina Fernandez, 7 Nice, 8 Salimi, 9 Wang.
8 Salimi, 2 Habash, 4 Jones, 3 Hesheveria, 1 Garcia, 5 Michelina, and 7 Nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Is that correct?
No.
No? Okay, which one?
I started with 2. I did not choose candidate number 1. Garcia, I did not choose that.
Okay. So I'm going to repeat it if you don't mind. Sorry. 8 Salimi, 2 Habash, 4 Jones, 3 Hesheveria, 5 Michelina, and 7 Nice.
Correct.
Missing one.
Wang, 9 Wang,
Okay.
8 Salimi.
That was the one I was missing.
What?
Sorry. That was the one I was missing. 9 Wang.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lehman,
2 Habash, 3 Hechovaria, 4 Jones, 6 Moran, 7 Nice, 9 Wang, and 8 Salimi.
8 Salimi, 2 Habash, 4 Jones, 3 Hesheveria, 9 Wang, 6 Moran, and 7 Nice.
Correct.
Long,
Yeah, so 8 Salimi. 8 Salimi, 2 Habash, 4 Jones, 3 Hesheveria, 1 Garcia, 5 Michelina Fernandez, and 7 Nice.
8 Salimi, 2 Habash, 4 Jones, 3 Hesheveria, 1 Garcia, 5 Michelina, and 7 Nice.
That's correct.
All right. Steinke,
8 Salimi, 2 Habash, 4 Jones, 3 Hechovaria, 9 Wang, 5 Michelina, 7 Nice.
8 Salimi, 2 Habash, 4 Jones, 3 Hesheveria, 9 Wang, 5 Michelina, and 7 Nice.
Yes.
Donnell,
8 Salimi, 2 Habash, 4 Jones, 3 Hesheveria, 9 Wang, 5 Michelini, 7 Nice.
8 Salimi, 2 Habash, 4 Jones, 3 Hesheveria, 9 Wang, 5 Michelina, and 7 Nice. Okay. Gunter.
8 Salimi, 2 Habash, 4 Jones, 3 Echeverria, 9 Wang, 5 Michelini, and 7 Nees.
All right. 8 Salimi, 2 Habash, 4 Jones, 3 Hesheveria, 9 Wang, 5 Michelina, and 7 Nice.
That's correct.
All right. I'll just be a minute while I make the totals.
Sure.
Oh, it is 8 for Nice. Okay. So we have 8 for Salimi, 8 for Habash, 8 for Jones, 8 for Hesheveria, 2 for Garcia, 6 for Wang, 7 for Michelina, 1 for Moran, and 8 for, 8 for Nice. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with 8 votes. Tallies. 1 with 7.
So it looks like we needed to
Let's-
pick 3 out of the 5. Since the first 4 got all 8, 2, 6, 1, 2, 1, 2, and 6, 4, 5, 6. So would it be Wang with 6 votes? Number 5 had 7 votes, and number 7 had 8 votes. Correct? So it would be.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, go ahead.
I'd like to make a motion that we appoint number 8 Salimi, number 2 Habash, number 4 Jones, number 3 Hecheveria, number 5 Michelina Fernandez, and number 9 Wang, and number 7 Nice.
Second.
Any council discussion? Seeing none, Madam City
Can I
Clerk?
just have the city clerk confirm those are the top vote getters?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Salimi, Habash, Jones, Hesheveria, Michelina, and Nice.
And Wang.
Yep.
1, 2,
1,
And
2,
Wang.
3, 4,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
and
and
Wang.
Wang.
Mhm. Yes.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay.
All right. Please call the roll.
Kaduk,
Aye.
Kilrain,
Aye.
Lastra,
Aye.
Lehman,
Aye.
Long,
Aye.
Steinke,
Aye.
Donnell, Gunter,
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, we'll move on to the seniors. The seniors, we have, how many vacancies total? 2 vacancies for that. Since the current members automatically move up from the junior year into the senior year. So basically, we have 4 or 5 applicants that were not current members. So out of those 5 individuals, 1, 2, 6, I'm sorry, 6. Out of those 6 individuals, we need to pick 2 individuals, and Madam City Clerk will go down the voting order again, I guess.
Kaduk,
6 Trujillo Garcia, and 3 Jackson.
Kilrain,
3 Jackson and 6 Trujillo Garcia.
Lastra,
1 Box, 6 Trujillo Garcia.
Lehman,
6 Trulia Garcia. 3 Jackson.
Long,
6 Trujillo Garcia and 1 Box.
Steinke,
6 Trujillo Garcia, 3 Jackson.
Donnell,
6 Trujillo Garcia, 3 Jackson.
Gunter,
Same as Councilmember Donnell, number 6 and number 3.
number 3. Okay, 1 moment. All right, so we have for the Trujillo Garcia, 8. For Brianna Box, we have 2. And for Jackson Landon, we have 6.
Motion to approve Jackson and Trujillo Garcia as the
Second.
senior representative.
Second.
Any other discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Paduk,
Aye.
Kilrain,
Aye.
Lastra,
Aye.
Lehman, Long,
Aye.
Steinke,
Aye.
Donnell, Gunter,
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, next item on the agenda under this topic is the Youth Council Liaison vacancy. I believe Councilmember Lastra is the current liaison with Councilmember Donnell, I believe, is the alternate liaison currently. So those 2 positions for next year are open again. So I will entertain any volunteers or any person or council member that wants to nominate a particular council member for this position. We'll start with the liaison position first. Councilmember Steinke, I see your light on.
Thank you, Mayor. If she would, I would nominate Councilmember Laster to continue.
I'll do it unless somebody else wants a turn, but I'm happy to do it.
And I would second that.
And what about liaison?
Well, why don't we take care of that one first and then we'll move on. So I'll entertain a motion if there's no other nominees on the floor except for Councilmember Lastra. I will entertain a motion.
So move.
Second.
Any other discussion? Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Paduk,
Aye.
Kilrain,
Aye.
Lastra,
Aye.
Lehman,
Aye.
Long, Steinke,
Aye.
Donnell,
Aye.
Gunter,
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, let's move to the council, Youth Council alternate liaison position. I'll entertain a volunteer or any nominations.
I nominate Councilmember Darnell to continue with that position.
I accept it. But I'll step back if someone else would like it.
I'll make the motion to appoint Councilmember Donnell to the alternate for Youth Council Liaison.
Second.
Seeing no other discussion, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Paduk,
Aye.
Kilrain,
Aye.
Lastra,
Aye.
Lehman,
Aye.
Long,
Aye.
Steinke,
Aye.
Donnell, Gunter,
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Okay, item 8C is unfinished business. C1 is follow-up items for council. I don't see anything listed. Item 2 is follow-up items for city manager. There's nothing listed under that. Next item on the agenda is Resolution 102-26. I'll turn it over to city manager or staff if you have any further comments. I know we had a pretty lengthy discussion in our last CAL meeting, but I'll turn it over to you first.
Staff's made the changes based on the direction that city council has given and prepared this agreement license for y'all consideration. If there are any questions about the details, Parks, we have Parks here to answer.
Motion to approve Resolution 102-26.
Second.
Is there any other council discussion? Councilmember Kadook.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So first of all, we've received a lot of emails, and I want to start off with, I have absolutely zero ties to the rowing club. My daughter is a dancer and I support the performing arts. I'm not into sports whatsoever, and my son is 8 months old, so I have no ties to the sports. But I sit in this chair and I try to think logically, and we have to take big decisions for the whole city. And with that being said, I want to start with the real concern here, which I believe is that it's the appearance of their stuff being stored at Tropicana Park. And across Cape Coral, we allow community sports organizations to store equipment in our parks. Madam City Clerk, I gave you a photo, if you could please put that on the projector. This was emailed to all of us as well. Thank you. So if you see, these are examples from multiple parks throughout our entire city where equipment is visible, it's on site, and it's accepted because it supports the activity for that sport in that park. So the question isn't whether equipment belongs in public parks. Clearly it already does. The question is whether we're going to apply that standard fairly across the board for all of our nonprofits. And if aesthetics are the concern here, the way it looks, that's something we can address, and that's what we have been addressing through our committee of the whole meetings: landscaping, placement, the design. So we told them to put up shrubbery or natural barriers. I also want to address the idea that somehow this is encroaching on a public park, because we received lots of emails of that last night. This park remains public. The docks are public. The water is public. Nothing about this agreement that we're about to approve, if council allows, removes access to the public. Using a public park for what its intended recreational purpose is an encroachment. It's using it for exactly what it was intended to be used for. Now, let's talk about safety. That was a big thing. We heard about safety. That's the primary argument. The rowing club has safely operated in the waterways for many, many, many years, right? They're doing it right now from the third island of the 7 Islands. And before that, they did it in Cape Harbor, which is actually way busier with boat traffic. This morning, I sent an email, council received it, but for the public to know, I asked, police department confirmed, there's been no safety incidences, none. So there's no evidence that this location is unsafe. It's only speculation. And sure, as the population grows, I really hope there are no accidents, but we have to be good stewards of our community and share the waterways. We've also been hearing concerns about the future boat traffic with the 7 Islands. But that same approved plan that this council approved has a kayak launch directly into this exact waterway. So I'm not understanding that. That argument doesn't make sense to me. They also have storage at the 7 Islands right on that waterway, something that would probably look like this. Hopefully they'll put shrubbery up or natural barriers. So the city's already determined that the 7 Islands is safe and it's an appropriate place for non-motorized water activity, right? Moving the rowing club, which I know that some people have suggested, doesn't improve safety. At Crystal Lake, they're launching over riprap. They've said that. They came here and they said that to us, which is actually more difficult and it's less safe for them. They said the hardest and the unsafest part, and I'm not a rower, is actually putting their boat into the water. Tropicana Park has a purpose-built floating dock designed specifically for safe access for them to lower their boats into. The city invested hundreds of thousands of dollars for that dock for the public to use. The most responsible thing we can do is use it for what it was built for, launching boats just like that into the water. And this brings us to the bigger picture. What do we want our parks to be? For the past few years, this city has had very public conversations about activating our waterfront. We made difficult decisions, including JC Park, in the name of doing exactly that, activating our waterfront. Now we have a waterfront park with access, with infrastructure, with opportunity, and we're considering making it harder, not easier, for our young people to use it. We say we want our kids off screens, we want them off social media, we want them engaged in something meaningful. This is exactly that. This is a public park, and this is exactly what public use should look like. I recently saw an email that said, "Together we're better." If together we're better, then together means all of us, especially our youth. Thank you.
Councilmember Lasker. There's no clapping, please. If you want to raise your hands like this lady did in the front, please do that. But please, no clapping. Councilmember Lasker.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councilmember Kaduke. I was going to touch upon the safety thing, and you know, I received this from someone last night from this neighborhood association, and you know, to me, after reading this and seeing all the comments, I mean, I tend to agree with you. It's a public park. You know, it's unfortunate that, you know, even I was a subject line of emails today. You know, people get personal, and, you know, I was trying to share last week that I personally can speak to this sport because I did it. And exactly what the rowers said last week in terms of proximity to the water, which is what they have at Tropicana Park, and they won't have that at Crystal Lake. I also asked our police chief about the safety concerns, and can you tell me if there were any crashes, you know, and the biggest issue I think we've had or reported was when kayakers get lost and they need to be rescued. So, you know, to me, I just don't really feel that safety is the center of this discussion, especially after reading through this newsletter. You know, it's unfortunate, but I feel like this discussion or the emails that we received was more about the park primarily for nearby residents' use. And, you know, we have club sports all over the city. I mean, by my house, we have Koza Park. You know, softball, baseball, kids use that. And, you know, I love it. I'm never going to not support that. And rowing is no different. And it's just, you know, it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate that so many of those emails were misleading regarding safety. I even understand that we haven't had any reports from Florida Fish and Wildlife on any safety issues. So thank you for saying what you said, Councilmember Kaduke, and I'm not going to change my position. I'll still support this. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, let's move on to Councilmember Lasker.
I just spoke.
I'm sorry, Councilmember Lehman.
Yeah. I'm going to present a whole different attitude. With Crystal Lake at the North Spreader, the docks, I realize we built the docks, the city paid for them at Tropicana. However, I have spoken to a few people and they are willing to volunteer and move the floating dock and the ramp from Seven Islands. And Seven Islands has said that they will give the rowing club 2 to 3 months to get this done. And the people that I've spoken to that have said that they will do this free of charge at no cost to the rowing club or the taxpayers. And they will also help with the fencing and the landscaping. To have them up at Crystal Lake, which is also, yes, a public park. And they would be, and we're not talking in the lake because you have the safety boats. We're talking at the top of the North Spreader, which would give you a longer run, and you wouldn't have as much congestion with motorized boats as you will down at Tropicana Park. And I've also spoken to, I did speak to, with the city manager, we spoke to Forest, and they will not terminate the lease immediately. They understand that it will take 2 to 3 months, i.e. 30 to 90 days, and they are willing to work with the rowing club in order to accomplish this. The reason I did this research is because all right, the rowing club, no argument there. I want to see you guys continue. However, you're talking maybe 40 people with the rowing club, yet you're talking about 1,500 people that have complained that they don't want to see the rowing club in Tropicana Park. And it needs, I think we need to look at the majority.
There's no outburst, please.
And I've looked at both sides of this. I've gone up there and looked at both sides of this, which is why, as I say, I took it a step further to see what we could do about getting you the docks that you need up at Crystal Lake at the top of the North Spreader. And we've got that worked out. Thank you.
Councilmember Kilbrain.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question that everyone sitting up here really wants to see a rowing club have a home in Cape Coral. I think that the discipline that it provides our youth and their just in being involved in a sport like that as an avenue to be able to get into some higher echelon colleges too, I think is a great opportunity. So I definitely think that everyone up here supports it. What we really have to look at, I think, is a long-term condition that we're creating by having them at a location. And if you look at what we're talking, we cannot run to expedite something that's going to be a problem in the future. And we are talking about a 25-year potential lease here. And we really have to look as a council forward into the future for what the conditions will be in the near term and in the future. And basically, even though there may be less traffic now than we might perceive it to be around Tropicana Park, there's no doubt that that will become a much more trafficked area with the 7 islands coming on stream. And that is a community park. It's for use for everyone. So my focus is really trying to minimize any potential impact on safety, not necessarily what the history has been, but what it will be in the future. And in the future, just logic tells you if you travel further north to Crystal Lake, the motorboat traffic will be less there than it will be further south. So from a logical basis, just from a trips basis, I think that the long-term safe position will be in the location of Crystal Park. As a result of that, I'm going to support Crystal Park for the future location, and I will not be supporting the lease for Tropicana Park at this point in time. I think there are opportunities, as Councilmember Laster had mentioned, or not Laster, Lehman had mentioned, for assistance in being able to relocate the current floating dock to Crystal Lake. That would be not all that time consuming and not all that costly to the rowing club. In addition to that, the city being able to accommodate an improved slope and taking some of the riprap rock away there, that's at a minimal cost. And who's to say that we may not, over a period of time, develop another docking mechanism there to accommodate Crystal Lake. And I think that the provision in that sheltered horseshoe, I think is a great opportunity for us to take advantage and have a win-win situation for everything. So please don't miscommunicate this. The city wants the rowing club here. We just got to figure out what's the right thing long-term. And I think to push it into a round peg into a square hole at this point in time is not the way to do it. We have to look long-term. So thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Donnell.
Thank you, Mayor.
I'm sorry, Councilmember Steinke's next. I apologize. Then you're next.
Thank you, Mayor. At our last discussion around this, I'd encouraged my colleagues to reconsider. And I try to keep an open mind all the way through all these discussions before I vote. Like two of my fellow council members did, I went and I did more research between then and now, seeing if I wanted to change my position on it. And after doing that, what I actually did was get even more ingrained in my position. And I couldn't have expressed the points that Councilmember Kaduk did any better than she did. But I would like to add a couple things to that. When you think about where you put our facilities and where our citizens can access them, name me a soccer field, a baseball field, a softball field, a football field that we stuck on the outer corner of our city so that it didn't get in anybody's way.
Mm-hmm.
We put them where the people are. We make them easy access for our citizens that are going to make use of them. And that was part of the plan when this originated over 6 years ago. Where will they be relocated? And a lot of thought went into it. And a lot of preparation went into it. And safety has not gotten worse since 6 years ago. And one of the ways I proved that to myself was to look at where one of the major, if you will, originators of these college athletes and the people that excel in this sport come from are Ivy League schools. And a lot of those schools are in the Northeast, where some of the worst aquatic conditions would be from the standpoint of being in seaports with huge vessels that have very little mobility. Once they're headed in a direction, that's where they're going. They can't change direction. So it's these athletes that have to be able to manage their craft around those types of dangers, if you will. And it's part of the sport, and it's what they're trained to do. And it's what we were told last week, that there's a member of the crew that's their sole responsibility, is keeping their fellow athletes out of harm's way, understanding what's around them in the waterways. So for me to think about safety being an issue, by doing the research that I did, is where do these people practice? Because we see them compete and there's nothing around them. But that isn't what they do 90% of the time. 90% of the time they're around other boat traffic. And if we want more kids to get involved in this sport, then let's treat it like soccer. Let's treat it like baseball, softball, football. Let's put it where the people are. Let's put it where the kids can see those enjoying the sport, where they can see the equipment, where they can ask the questions and can be inquisitive. Let's not stick them out in no man's land. And let's not make this decision to the 9th hour when all the preparations have been made for a good transition and a successful transition and a great place for them to be, which is what was decided 6 years ago. Let's not change it the 9th hour. Let's fulfill the mission, fulfill the plan that was put in place, and disregards some of these reasons that were brought up that really, in my opinion, have no foundation. So my position will not change. I will be in support of this. Thank you.
Councilmember Donnell.
Well, thank you, Mayor. I was having a discussion. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Just interesting enough, did you see the amount of emails and people attending? Reminded me back to those of you all who were here when we were going through the UEP. And it's interesting, we were struggling back then talking about infrastructure. And on the other side, today we're having a discussion about parks. So on one end, it's interesting to see how that is swung. What does that mean for this conversation? I started out when we talked, I'm still kind of stunned because we started out with the number 4 was how it was going to look. So I'm still just really was struggling to get back. But one of my council members challenged me and us to look at it. Okay, let's open it back up. So having said that, when you start getting into an issue where there's people on both sides with competing interests, then nothing I'm going to say is going to sway one side or the other. So then how do you make an informed, intelligent decision? Because it comes down to a vote. My vote comes down to the data, not about how I'm feeling, not what I'm thinking is going to happen, but what the data have, and you can do some predictive data as far as what's going to happen in the future, but that's something that you can't predict. But the data right now, you've heard it as it was brought forth for safety. You've heard it, what we can do for aesthetics. You've heard it, what we've had the reports from Florida Fish and Wildlife and the police department. The data is screaming that this park needs to be exactly where it was going to be a couple of weeks ago. So I just wanted to let you know that there's a lot of emotion here. I respect that. I'm not demeaning it, but the data is clear for me because I'm not even a row. I can't even fit in one of those boats. But all the data here supports it being there, understanding that it's a competing value, and I understand that for the other end. But that's not what this data. It's about data. It's about what we can do, supporting it. I'm in full support of it. That's all. Thank you.
Councilmember Kaduc.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Steinke really hit it home. I mean, I was just going back to the most fiscally responsible thing that we can do is allow them to use the park for what it was built for. And again, I had our city clerk put up, we have this all over our parks, everywhere. All of our kids are using and storing stuff everywhere. So this is no different in my opinion. Thank you.
Okay, seeing no other lights on, we have a motion, second on the floor. Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Kaduc,
Aye.
Kilrain,
No.
Lastra,
Aye.
Lehman. No. Long,
No.
Steinke,
Aye.
Donnell. Gunter,
No.
4 ayes, 4 nays, motion failed.
Okay, we will move on to item 9, ordinances and resolution. 9A is public hearings. We have quasi judicial hearings, first of which is ordinance 16-26. Madam City Clerk, please read the title.
Ordinance 16-26, an ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Cape Coral, Florida, that amends the city of Cape Coral, Florida official zoning district map of all property within the limits of the city of Cape Coral by rezoning property described as a parcel of land located within lots 20 and 21, block 163, Cape Coral, Unit 3, as more particularly described herein, from residential multifamily low to professional zone. Property located at 124 Cape Coral Parkway West, providing for severability and an effective date.
Mr. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. In reference to ordinance number 16-26, because it is a quasi judicial matter, if there are any ex parte communications that have occurred regarding this, it shall be disclosed right now pursuant to our ordinances.
Okay, anyone have to divulge any ex parte communications?
No.
Okay, seeing none, this is a quasi judicial hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on on ordinance 16-26 must be sworn in. Please stand and raise your right hand if you're going to speak during this ordinance.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll turn it over to staff.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. For the record, Patrick White, Principal Planner downstairs in DSD. This is ordinance 1626. I have a brief PowerPoint presentation for you. The applicant is Mr. Carlos Lorena, his authorized rep, and he's representing 118 Cape Coral LLC. The property's location is 124 Cape Coral Parkway West. It's about 10,000 square feet. And they're requesting a rezoning from RML to professional P. The property is vacant. It's undeveloped. It's had a commercial professional future land use since 2007. If approved, the rezoning will create a little bit more land capable of non-residential development. The proposed professional zoning district is the least impactful of the 3 options available under the commercial professional future land use classification. The property is located in South Cape Coral. That intersection there is the intersection of Santa Barbara and Cape Coral Parkway West. The property, as I mentioned, has a commercial professional future land use designation. It's currently zoned RML. The applicants requested a rezoning to P, professional. Staff examined the request in accordance with LDC 346B. There's 6 different criteria. We found it consistent with all of them and consistent with multiple policies within the comprehensive plan. The fire and police impact estimates are minimal. Staff's recommending approval. The hearing examiner recommended approval following a public hearing on the 10th of February. I received 1 phone call. It was just an inquiry. They didn't support or oppose the request, and we'll stand by for any questions.
Okay, thank you. Is the applicant or the applicant's representative here for ordinance 16-26?
Yes.
Would you like to speak, sir? You don't have to? No? Thank you. All right, I will now open up the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on ordinance 16-26, please come forward. We'll use the podium to my left, next to the doors. Seeing none, public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion regarding ordinance 16-26?
Motion to approve 16-26.
Second.
And is there any council discussion? Seeing none, Madam City Clerk, please call the roll.
Kaduke,
Aye.
Kilrain,
Aye.
Lastro,
Aye.
Lehman,
Aye.
Long,
Aye.
Steinke,
Aye.
Donnell, Center,
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to item 9B, legislative public hearings, first of which is ordinance 16-26. Madam City Clerk, please read the title.
Ordinance 18-26, an ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Cape Coral, Florida, amending City of Cape Coral Ordinance 3-26, which amended Ordinance 50-25, which adopted the City of Cape Coral operating budget, revenues and expenditures, and capital budget for fiscal year 2026 by increasing the total revenues and expenditures by a total of $11,323,646, providing for severability and an effective date.
Okay, thank you. I'll turn it over to staff.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council. Crystal Feast, Financial Services Director. As read into the record, the item before you is approval for the second budget amendment of the fiscal year. It was first introduced April 1st, 2026, and before you and the public tonight for hearing and final approval. So with all budget amendments, they're governed by Florida Statute 166.2413, which allows the city to amend its budget at any time within the fiscal year or within 60 days following the end of the fiscal year. This is the second budget amendment of the fiscal year, and it captures city council actions approved in January and February of 2026, as well as any personnel services, operating, and capital adjustments. So in short, the ordinance aligns the adopted budget with council's policy decisions and the operational needs over the last quarter. So budget amendment number 2 increases the city's budget by $11,323,646, which represents an increase of 0.76% from the previously amended budget, a modest adjustment in relation to the overall budget. So this amendment is organized into 3 categories. The first is previously approved city council items totaling approximately $8.7 million. The second is other adjustments totaling $2.6 million. And the third is personnel changes totaling $150,000 and includes personnel changes such as new job classifications and existing position reclassifications. The largest share of the amendment, as you can see, is under the previously approved city council items. And these, again, are items previously brought before council and approved. And examples include interlocal agreements, design and construction contracts, and grant awards. The second largest category is the other adjustments. And this includes revised revenue estimates, capital project reconciliations, and things of that nature that help realign the budget. So this slide provides you with a different viewpoint of the amendment and includes a breakdown by source. And you'll see the categories or the funding sources include charges for services, debt, use of fund balance, grants, miscellaneous revenue, transfers, and encumbrances carry forward. And I'll go over each of these categories in more detail in the next slides. Starting with charges for services. So included in the budget amendment is the incorporation of the residential rental program, which took effect January 1st. The inclusion increases the budget by $2.25 million. to account for the program's anticipated revenues and associated expenditures. And that was passed by Resolution 27925. Part of this amendment includes an increase to the Oasis Sports Complex project, where council approved the purchase of needed wetland mitigation credits. This project is or will be supported by debt, and the increase must be formally recognized into the budget. Since January, the council approved or accepted about $6.5 million in grant awards. These include $159,000 in public safety grants, $6 million in state appropriations for the Northeast Reservoir, and about $283,000 for charter school programs. So these items must be included in the budget in order to formally appropriate them and be able to spend them as they were intended. The amendment also includes $24,000 that was collected or raised by the Youth Council and the related expenses for its participation in the National League of Cities Congressional City Conference, which was in Washington, D.C. So again, new revenue, new spending, so we have to incorporate that into the budget. So this slide covers transfers, and the first item is a $61,000 adjustment to the transfer between the general fund and the CRA fund due to the use of the rollback rate for this fiscal year. The second item increases the transfer from the CRA's operating fund to the capital project fund by $643,000 to provide additional funding for projects you see here. At the end of the last fiscal year, the CRA had $643,000 that fell to the bottom line or of unspent funds, which by state statute must be reobligated or reappropriated. And so the CRA board did approve to reallocate that unspent money to these projects. So now we're incorporating that into the budget. And the final item is a $15,000 increase to the transfer from the Fire Operations Fund to the Fire Grant Fund to cover a required match under the Firefighter Cancer Decontamination Grant. So this slide addresses use of fund balance. The first two items relate to the charter school. The board approved use of fund balance to carry forward outstanding purchase orders from the prior fiscal year, totaling $738,000. And they also approved the purchase of security equipment totaling $268,000. With your approval tonight, $79,000 of general fund balance will be used to support the Coconut Festival. The budget amendment includes total funding of $500,000. However, $421,000 will be covered within the existing budget. So the increase to the budget is only $79,000 as it relates to this transaction. Next is $643,000 in unspent funds that lapsed to fund balance in the CRA fund, which is allocated to capital projects within the CRA. This is the same item from the previous slide. It's just the other side of it. And then finally, council approved the use of $61,000 in state forfeiture funds to purchase crime prevention equipment for the police department. Because this item was not previously budgeted, the amendment increases the budget to use that fund balance for the purchase. And then finally, personnel. The budget amendment adds 4 positions for the rental registration program totaling $150,000, which is included in that $2.25 million mentioned on a previous slide. In the general fund, talent acquisition specialist in HR is being reclassed to an HRIS analyst position, and a research analyst position in the police department is being reclassified to a strategic planning administrator. And the fiscal impact of these reclassifications will be absorbed through other personnel savings, so there is no increase to the budget related to these. And then finally, at the charter school, their board approved adding contract counselors and junior counselors for their before and after school program. And as with the other reclassifications, these additions are funded through cost savings. So there will not be an increase to the budget for these. All right, and that is all I have for the budget amendment. Staff recommends approval of ordinance 1826, and I'm available for questions.
Thank you. I'll open up public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak on ordinance 18-26, please come forward. Seeing none, public hearing is now closed. Oh, in the back.
Judging from what I just heard, every month, pretty much every month this year, you've added about another $10 million each month to the budget. What? I mean, when are you going to stop? That's the question. When are you going to stop? There's stuff in this budget you don't need to do. What was just presented.
Anyone else wishing to speak during public input on ordinance 18-26? Please come forward. Seeing none, public hearing is now closed. Is there a motion regarding?
Motion to approve ordinance
approve.
18-26.
Second.
Councilmember Donnell.
Yeah, I had asked Ms. Feast, because the gentleman who asked me, could you go to, for those of you all, we've created it now, and this is all about transparency. Just as we went through the exercise the other time about how you look at the agenda, the specifics. Ms. Feast, would you please, for the record, show how all the audience and the residents can, when these transactions happen, it's called Open Gate. Same thing that we have, you have access to. And I asked her to show us just how we get there up here on the big screen so we can make a record of it. So you can see everything at your time and digest it and then bring your questions forward. Please, ma'am.
Absolutely. I will ask IT to. How do I get it to her?
He's
He's
coming.
coming.
Thank you. Okay. So the module on the website that I'll be going to is under government and then under open government. You'll see that there are a number of items that we have provided the public with access to. Under financial open government, there is a page called Open Finance. And here is where we've set up basically access to our portal to all of the transactions that run through the city's financial system. And so the way that it's broken up, well, I'll also say that we've added a video to this page that will walk you through what I'm about to do, but it acts as a very good tutorial when you have time to do it on your own and at your own pace. It will provide you step-by-step of how to maneuver through the page as well. But it starts with the city's primary operating funds, and it gives you revenues on one side, expenses on the other side. And it then it highlights specific funds such as the general fund, fire operation fund. So all of what we consider are major funds for the city. Building code fund, water and sewer fund, stormwater fund, and then all other city funds which are considered non-major are grouped together in this category, all other city funds. So one program that was incorporated into the budget is the city's residential rental program. And for transparency purposes and at City Council's discretion, we have set that up as a separate accounting fund. So if you want to track the revenue and expenditures related to that specific program or fund, you would go under this category, all other city funds, and then you can click on the revenue. And what you'll have to do is find, this particular fund is under special revenue funds, but you'll see that there are also enterprise funds, capital project funds, and internal service funds under this category. This particular residential rental program is under special revenue funds, so you would click there. And then you can scroll down. Here provides you a list of all of the funds that roll up into what we're calling special revenue funds. And you can find the fund that you would want to look at. Right now, we're looking at the rental registration program. And it gives you a snapshot of revenue that was collected as of last night. You'll see that the only revenue source for this particular fund is rental registration fees. And as of last night, we've collected $682,115. So it's in real time. You can go to it every day and see how we're actively collecting for this program. Now, when there are expenditures, now that once the budget is approved, we'll start incurring expenditures related to this program. You would just go to this tab here, how it's spent. And here you would then have the ability to see or to track any actual expenditures that have been incurred in real time as well. And you can do that for all of our funds.
Thank you, ma'am. And what was the purpose? Once again, it's all about transparency. And you take the time. Every dollar that comes through here, you can track it on either of these. There'll be a lot of things you hear on the campaign trail about the budget review. This is not an end run. Council will change. But there's no more information that committee would have that you don't have and I don't have access to. So I just want to let you know what they're doing. Thank you all very much, Ms. CM, for your leadership, and Ms. Feaston. It's there. But you go through now how you interpret it, what you argue about, that's another story. But it's there. And I'm proud of what we're doing up here and being good stewards of your dollars. Thank you. That's all.
Councilmember Kadouk.
Thank you, Mayor. Crystal, since you're on this, if you just want to go back to not into a fund, because this is the way I use open finance. Right? Nope, you scrolled too far. Common questions. I will type in something like Kessler Consulting, Kessler Consulting. And you can see, and I usually change the years to all the years, but you can click on it. I mean, I go through it a different way. I don't have control of the mouse. And you can see everything that we've paid to them thus far, and I dive in. So yeah, I think it's a great tool. But I really push my light because it looks like $11 million, 11.3 in new spending, and it's not. It's about, and I'm rounding, $9 million, 6.5 is grants. The rest is our rental registration fees coming in, and then what we've approved for spending. That was why I pushed my light. Thank you. Oh, and yeah, see to date, you can see at the top, and then drop down the 2026 menu, I would do all years. That's how I use open finance all day, every day when I'm looking at city stuff. Thank you.
Councilmember Lehman.
Yeah. With the 682,000 on the rental registrations that we've taken in, and the chart you've shown us, there have been no expenditures against it. Where's that money going? What's happening to it? Does it just sit in a fund? Does it get subtracted from the budget request?
So the program became effective January 1st of this year. But there was no budget for it at the time because it became effective January 1st, but City Council approved it September of last fiscal year. So right at the end of the fiscal year. So by that time we had already created the proposed budget that was presented. And so we didn't have an opportunity to incorporate it into the adopted budget. So here we are, fast forward, now incorporating the expected program revenues and expenditures for that. So since January, the program has been active, and so we've been collecting it. However, there's been no budget for program expenditures to spend the money. That's what we're doing today. So now that once it's approved, we'll have a budget to spend, and that will include the 4 positions. So that money, the $682,000 that you're referring to, will be spent to cover payroll expenditures for those 4 positions, 2 vehicles for the 2 code officer positions. And then there's outside services and different things that we will also utilize that money for. So it's in its own fund. It's collecting revenue, actively collecting revenue. But now that we've established the budget, you will now start seeing the expenditure side of that.
But now, question, go back to the slide that lists what we're going to do with this money.
Let's see.
With the 682,000 is what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
With the hiring of, didn't we already have this staff? Or are we hiring additional staff on top of what we already had?
Additional staff. There were 4 positions that if approved tonight, will be added for this particular program.
And we need, in 3.5 months, we've collected $682,000 with how many are on staff now?
So our city clerk's office, mainly the city clerk and some of her staff have been in administering the program. But now, once these positions get added, they will be able to put more effort, obviously, to it and be able to send out more notices and really work the program and get more people registered.
So you're saying that
So it's been
they
very
will
minimal
be-
effort so far because we haven't had these positions approved. But once approved, we'll be able to
All right.
to administer it.
Okay,
more
so
actively.
if the budget increase is approved and so then we will be hiring 4 positions, full-time, part-time, what?
3 full-time, 1 part-time. 1 research specialist, full-time position, a part-time or contract administrative assistant, and then 2 code inspectors.
Will be full-time, and then it will come out of the city clerk's office and they will handle the whole situation. The 4 that we're hiring will handle the whole situation.
The positions will be housed in both, but funded by this program. So the research specialist and the contract administrative assistant will be housed in the city clerk's office. The code enforcement officers will be housed in code, but funded by this program. There's no office for the residential rental program, so they have to be
I
housed.
understand that. Thank you very
You're
much for
welcome.
the information.
Okay, seeing no other lights on, we have a motion second on the floor. Madam City Clerk, could you call the roll, please?
Kaduk?
Aye.
Kilrain?
Aye.
Lastra?
Aye.
Lehman? Long?
Aye.
Steinke?
Aye.
Donnell? Gunter?
Aye.
8 ayes, motion carried.
Hey, just a reminder, if you wish to speak during citizens input, once we get to that part of the agenda, please remember to fill out a comment card and the city clerk will be calling you up. Utilize the podium to my far left in front of the doors. Item 9D is introductions, first of which is Resolution 91-26. Madam City Clerk, please read title, set the public hearing date.
Resolution 91-26, a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Cape Coral, Florida, providing for the vacation of plat for a portion of alley right-of-way between lots 1 through 41 in lots 42 through 82, Block 4185, Unit 59, providing for the vacation of platted easements located within lots 34 through 37 and lots 47 through 49, Block 4185, Unit 59, providing for the vacation of easements underlying the alley right-of-way between lots 34 through 37 and lots 46 through 49, Block 4185, Unit 59. Properties located at 3300 through 3510 Tropicana Parkway and 3301 through 3513 Northwest 7th Terrace, providing for an effective date. The public hearing will be May 6th, 2026.
Any discussion by staff or council? Seeing none, we'll move on to Resolution 92-26. Madam City Clerk, please read the title, set the public hearing date.
Resolution 92-26, a resolution of the mayor and city council of the city of Cape Coral, Florida, providing for the vacation of plat for a portion of alley right-of-way and underlying easements between lots 1 through 21 and lots 22 through 43, Block 4278, Unit 61, providing for the vacation of interior platted easements located within lots 19 through 21 and lots 22 through 26, Block 4278, Unit 61. Properties located at 3246 through 3322 Northwest 16th Terrace and 3235 through 3327 Gulfstream Parkway, providing for an effective date. The public hearing will be May 6th, 2026.
Thank you. Any discussion by staff or council? Seeing none, we'll move on to Ordinance 10-26. Madam City Clerk, please read title, set the public hearing date.
Ordinance 10-26, an ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Cape Coral, Florida, amending the land development code of the city of Cape Coral, Florida, section 1.15, measurements, as set forth within Article 1, general provisions, and section 3.3.6, administrative deviations, as set forth within Article 3, development review, chapter 3, specific review procedures, administrative permits, and approvals, and section 5.1.12, as set forth within Article 5, Development Standards, Chapter 1, General Requirements for All Development, regarding height restrictions for both buildings and structures, providing for severability and an effective date. The public hearing will be May 6th, 2026.
Any discussion by staff or council? Seeing none, we'll move on to Ordinance 17-26. Madam City Clerk, please read the title, set the public hearing date.
Ordinance 17-26, an ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Cape Coral, Florida, amending the city of Cape Coral, Florida Land Development Code by amending section 5.2.1, general requirements, set forth within Article 5, Development Standards, Chapter 2, accessory structures, amending section 5.2.7, fences and walls, set forth within Article 5, Development Standards, Chapter 2, accessory structures, regarding the general requirements and restrictions on fences and walls, providing for severability and an effective date. The public hearing will be May 6, 2026.
Okay, thank you. Move on to Ordinance 24-26. Madam City Clerk, please read title, set the public hearing date.
Ordinance 24-26. An ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Cape Coral, Florida, authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $103,500,000 in aggregate principal amount of utility improvement assessment bonds, North 1 East Area, Series 2026 of the city of Cape Coral, Florida, for the principal purpose of financing and refinancing the development, construction, and installation of certain potable water, wastewater, and irrigation water utility capital improvements within the North 1 East Area of the city, pledging special assessment proceeds to secure payment of the principal of redemption premium, if any, and interest on the bonds, allowing for the use of net revenues of the city's water and sewer utility system to pay debt service on the bonds or make up deficiencies in the reserve account in the event such special assessment proceeds are insufficient for such purpose, providing severability and an effective date. The public hearing will be May 6th, 2026.
Any discussion by staff or council? Seeing none, we'll move on to Ordinance 25-26. Madam City Clerk, please read title, set the public hearing date.
Ordinance 25-26, an ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Cape Coral, Florida, authorizing the issuance of not to exceed $100 million in aggregate principal amount of water and sewer revenue bonds, Series 2026 of the city of Cape Coral, Florida, to finance and refinance costs of the acquisition, construction, and equipping of various capital improvements to the city's water and sewer utility system. Pledging the herein described pledged funds to secure the payment of the principal of, redemption premium, if any, and interest on such bonds, providing for certain rights of the holders of such bonds, and providing an effective date. The public hearing will be May 6th, 2026.
Any discussion by staff or council? Councilmember Kaduc.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I actually requested some items from staff, so I just want to put that on the record. I know you're shaking your head yes, but thank you. I know it's a lot of information that I asked for, but I'm looking forward to all of us receiving that. Thank you.
Okay, move on to ordinance 2626. Madam City Clerk, please read title, set the public hearing date.
Ordinance 26-26, an ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Cape Coral, Florida, approving the consent to assignment of lease agreement and estoppel certificate to assign the lease agreement from PPW Cape Coral LLC to Ripley's Sunsplash Water Park LLC, a Delaware limited liability company, relating to property owned by the city of Cape Coral, Florida, located at 400 Santa Barbara Boulevard, known as Sunsplash Water Park, authorizing the city manager or their designee to execute the consent to assignment of lease agreement, estoppel certificate, and any and all related documents, providing for severability and an effective date. The public hearing will be May 6th, 2026.
Thank you. Any discussion by staff or council? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 10 is citizens input, which is a maximum of 60 minutes is set for the input of citizens on matters concerning city government, 3 minutes per individual. Please remember to state your name for the record. Citizens are given opportunities to be heard concerning matters scheduled on the council agenda or any other matters pertinent to the city. In order to promote an orderly system and hold a public business meeting and to ensure that individuals are not embarrassed or harassed as a result of their exercise of the right of free speech, the city has established rules that must be followed. These rules are considered council rules of procedure, which are established and adopted by a resolution by the city council. The speaker is required to always maintain proper decorum. Only a person recognized by the mayor should be addressing the city council or be making any audible remarks during the business portion of the meeting. Speakers shall address their comments, and this is very important, to the city council as a whole, not to an individual council member or to any specific staff member or members of the audience. No person shall make any personal or profane remarks or gestures. Unauthorized remarks, stomping of feet, whistling, or similar demonstrations shall not be permitted during the business meeting. No person is permitted to interrupt the city council proceedings or the comments of any person recognized by the mayor in any manner. No person is permitted to behave in a disorderly manner by shouting, yelling, whistling, chanting, singing, dancing, clapping, foot stomping, cheering, jeering, or engaging in any other disruptive display during the city council's business meeting. No person can display a banner, place card, or sign. No person can distribute any handouts or materials to any members in the audience within City Hall. No person is permitted to refuse to follow the instructions or to comply with these policies and rules that govern the City Council proceedings, which were outlined in a resolution and approved by council. Any person who engages in behavior that is prohibited within these rules or is boisterous or disruptive in any manner in a City Council business meeting shall be asked to leave and may be escorted from the room by the police department. With that being said, Madam City Clerk, if you could call the Cape Coral residents who put in their comment cards first, then we'll go from there.
Peter Perez and Bruce Abrahams.
Peter Perez.
Peter Perez and Bruce Abrahams.
Peter or Bruce, are you here? Okay.
So that was Peter Perez, Bruce Abrahams, Ambrose Love,
Ambrose Love,
Zenobia,
Senavia,
Christina Ilchison, and Tom Shadrack.
yes, the podium to the left there. Go ahead, ma'am. You go ahead and start.
Perfect. Mayor, council, thank you guys so much. My name is Christina Ilchison. I am a longtime citizen here in Cape Coral. I moved here 2000. Just a little bit about myself. I have a master's degree from FGCU in criminal justice with a distinction in corporate compliance. I'm also a business owner. I have a corporate compliance consulting business as well as I'm an artist. I was also a flagship member of a corporate compliance team for an international billion-dollar healthcare corporation based out of Southwest Florida. So I have 25 years of corporate compliance experience, and I've come to present my concerns of conflicts of interest associated with the FLAG project. It's a big red flag. 25 years of corporate compliance experience, it's a big red flag. I have 2 minutes. I have provided to council. It is on my Facebook page and on my Instagram. If you scan the little barcode, it pulls up all of the laws and all of the conflicts of interest. I'm 3 weeks post-op emergency surgery. I'm a traumatic brain injury survivor, and I'm here with a lot of confidence to speak up because I don't know where's the money going. It's a big red flag. And, based on ADA, they just tore down the water tower for the city of Fort Myers because it didn't meet ADA guidelines. And that was 200 feet. So, yeah. So I don't know, guys. There's a lot of red flags. If I understand the rules, I'm trying to follow the rules and be respectful. If you would like to see me after, we can do that. And I've studied so much law that to protect myself to come up here and speak and present this information. I don't know what the law actually is to speak with me after. So I'm a little I'm going to tell you guys I'm being vulnerable, but I was harassed before I got here. And there's proof of it. So it's taken a lot of courage for me to come up here and speak. And I don't know what you guys have been told about me or my history, but this city is not safe. I'm a corporate compliance executive. I own my own business for many years. And to see what's happening, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but I've been called worse. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Hi, Tom Shadrack, permanent resident. Just want to clarify the record. Last council meeting, it was stated by the city manager that the speaker, which was me, provided false information about the new park at the north end of town, that they gave a $434,000 contract to design a park. He said it wasn't sole source. By how I read the resolution, they only went to one bidder and only one person proposed. To my definition, that's a sole source. He argued that it was a master agreement of 36 vendors and they chose one to provide a bid. That's not a competition. To me, in my world, 37 years of government contracting, that was a sole source procurement. And I stand by that. Okay. A couple other points I'll make. Just interesting today on the rowing club, You guys, four of you set a pretty interesting precedents here tonight. You had a 6-year plan going to, as said, to the 9th hour, and you changed what was going on. So I don't want to hear any of you four that said no to this say, well, since the council before us did it, we're not changing. So now you've opened the door for anything to be changed forever when a decision was made by a prior council. So thanks at least for that. Just a couple other topics. Waste Pro, that, you know, their competition is up at the end of the month. We'll get bids, hopefully. I assume the code of silence. There's a lot of scuttlebutt going on about that, especially with this transfer station of putting basically a trash dump up in District 7 area, up by Coral Lakes subdivision and Yellow Fever Creek. I'm not sure those residents know that's going to happen. I think they'd rather have a rowing club than a dump next to them. I see our financials are all green. I looked at them for the month of February actuals. Again, we had a 20 million something surplus. Don't quote me on that, Mike. Sorry. Might not be totally accurate there. But there was a huge surplus last year, and we're doing the same thing again this year. Raise tax revenue, assessment revenue, and we'll have more than 20 million surplus by the metrics. We're halfway through the year. Everything is more revenue, less expenses than planned, as our conservative methods do. Okay. Lots of major issues. Not sure why a lot of these topics you're talking about are here when we have so many major things to do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Marie Cavanaugh, Joe Angrisano, and Don Hazlett.
Who's the next one up, ma'am?
Marie Cavanaugh,
Marie Kavanaugh.
Yep, my name is Marie Cavanaugh. Take out the trash committee of Cape Coral. First, I want to make a correction from the cow meeting this past Wednesday. Mr. Steinke mentioned putting, when you were talking about fencing, he was talking about putting, talking about anchor fencing, and he said put slats in it. I almost said something, but I wanted to be absolutely sure. You can't have anchor fence with slats in it because of the wind. So there's that. We're back to the flag, folks. I want to know where that flag trust fund is, how it's going to be administered. We have no idea. What are you going to do when the $420,000 isn't sufficient? Where's the money going to come from? I had a discussion with the city manager after the golf club meeting last week. And we had a disagreement on who could apply for the 7460-1 FAA form. He insists Flag Systems, which nobody's heard of. It's not in any of the documentation anywhere. I called the FAA. He said this thing is valid. I say no, it has to be the people who got the award. Anyway, the people on Pine Island, they're supposed to apply for this thing, okay? It shouldn't be hard, but the rules are rules. You follow the rules. I don't make the rules, and apparently he doesn't follow them. But that has to be addressed, but also in talking to them, because I explained the whole situation to the people who actually signed this. And they said, no, the contractor who puts it up is the one who has to apply for it. Now, did our city manager get the permit through the state like he's supposed to? Under Title 25, Chapter 333, Section 025, Aviation. They have to have that in conjunction with the FAA thing. If you try to put it up without the state approval, I have a number to call. Thank you.
Joe Angrisano.
Hello, everyone. Thank you very much. My name is Joe Angrisano, and I'm a candidate for District 6 City Council. And I'm probably a 5-minute walk from the new Tropicana Park. Beautiful. I'm looking forward to enjoying it. And I thank, since I can't name anybody by name, I thank you for the impassioned support of the public park being constructed. It's beautiful, and I'm sure everybody will enjoy it. I'm a longtime political enthusiast out of Boston, Massachusetts. The first comment I got when I announced was, "Oh no, he's from Boston. That's the end of that. He doesn't have my vote." That was one thing. Another thing, they said, "Oh, we don't need a guy from the Home Depot." That was also a negative, unfortunately. And I'm a 6-year resident of Cape Coral. I think one quick thing before I get to my topic about internet law. I manage the social media and the reputation management for a $2 billion company for 7 years, the Herb Chambers Company out of Massachusetts. And within that time period, before and after, I was also a digital marketing manager for a large company that specialized in the data that brought criminals to justice for the FBI, Secret Service, and for law enforcement across the country. So my part-time job in the tile department is quite a departure from my corporate experience. On the internet law side, I'm just going to bring you back real quick to my internet experience with managing Google and Google search. And this is on behalf of the controversy of what's publicly available as far as the logo is concerned, the logo controversy, and what is considered public access in public property. We were the #1 search, and I can see my time running out, for the 2004 Democratic National Convention worldwide, and I built that website. And the first thing that happened to me was the Democratic National Committee came after me for calling it the Democratic National Convention website. We immediately, I'm going to speed it up, we immediately went to Harvard University, who at that time in 2004 was writing the internet law for such a thing of using the name Democratic National Convention. What came out of talking to Terry McAuliffe, a huge number of attorneys from the Democratic National Committee, was that they wanted my font, my disclaimer, to be the largest font on my website. I said to them, "Did you ever see the disclaimer on a pack of Winstons? You're going to get an 8-point font." And that's where my disclaimer was. And that's where and so what I'm saying is, my time runs out. Please don't waste your time on fighting the public access to a public logo.
Thank you.
And public information. It's a waste of time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, you know me personally. Everybody knows me. You made a show of my life. And I've had just about enough of all your nonsense that I could personally take as a human being. A young lady that was taken out of my driveway in March, she still hasn't been accounted for, and she was taken by the Cape Coral Police Department. So I did make Charlotte and Lee County and everybody else aware of that scenario. Your childish behavior towards my life has been very inconsistent of what you should treat a citizen like. The illegal surveillance in my home, the shows of my life that you people put out. I mean, you can look at me, Mayor. I'm over here, tough guy. I'll point you out. I'll point all of you out. You're a bunch of fucking thieves.
Mayor, point of order, Mayor.
I think you can treat me however y'all see fit. You can send the cops into my home and disrespect my home. But for some reason, I got a profanity come out of my mouth that hurts y'all's feelings. But wait till this lawsuit comes through. Because I'm getting you off, every single one of you, for as much as I can possibly take, including the city. And I've already talked to the state about taking your entire charter. So that way Cape Coral will no longer exist, especially after the nonsense that I've been put through. Y'all have an oath of office, every one of you. And you violate it. Every one of you. Tell me I'm lying. Nothing to say? You speak on that cuss. You can't answer a question? Y'all violated your oath of office. I see your little cowards move. You're an attorney. You should know better. You, sir, the city attorney. You should have known better. You allowed this nonsense to carry on way too long. And anybody can tell me that I need to respect you. But I'm going to tell you now, either respect me first or, Mayor, you're still number one.
Okay, point
Okay?
of order,
No.
Mayor. Will you
Go
call
ahead.
recess?
What am I doing wrong?
Please escort him out.
I'm done.
We'll go ahead and take a 5-minute break while they do that.
Thank you.